Yo, what is going on, you guys? It is Culture Shock back with another video. We're here to give you a Week 10 preview of the Indianapolis Colts versus the Buffalo Bills after last week's circus of a game plan. The Indianapolis Colts fell short last week, wind up losing to the Minnesota Vikings on prime time, wind up getting that game flexed into a 1 p.m. slot after that. So it doesn't look very well for the Colts, but this is their chance to redeem themselves. They run up against a very tough Buffalo Bills team. We have a lot of history with this team for sure. But the Buffalo Bills look like they're heading to their rough stretch of their season. So this is the beginning of it. Honestly, I can say, hopefully, there's some type of momentum the Colts can get. They're back at home this week. Um, my projections for this team was to go one victory, one loss, a roller coaster type of season, but that's just not the case this year. They wind up losing two back to back. It's not a great look for the Colts. Hopefully, they're trying to redeem themselves. This is a game, the second game for Joe Flacco to start at quarterback. Last week was his first week starting permanently at quarterback for the rest of the season for the Indianapolis Colts, per reports from Shane Steichen and everyone else. Anthony Richardson is benched. We don't know when he'll see the field again. A lot of people after last week's performance kind of wanted to see Anthony Richardson back on the field. Free AR5 was trending on Twitter and all over social media platforms. A lot of people in the media aspect, Robert Griffin III and others, even Pat McAfee owed Anthony Richardson an apology after last week's offense. And it started to question to ask yourself, the offense, what was the real issue? Well, a lot of people thought it was the QB, but I think it's a deeper issue than just quarterback play. So going into this week against the Buffalo Bills, this team has to figure it out, honestly. Going into week 10, the chances to win this division, as shocking as it may sound, is still there. The opportunity is still there to win the division. I know that sounds crazy, but anything's possible in the NFL. After the trade deadline, a lot of trades been made. The Buffalo Bills wind up trading for Amari Cooper. His projection to play is up in the air due to that injury he has. I think it's his wrist or something like that. But anywho, the Buffalo Bills is still a loaded team. They got one of the best quarterbacks in Josh Allen. Even though how streaky he can be performing, he's still one of the best out there to do it at that position. Going into this week, honestly, I feel like the Colts have to double down again on the run defense. Of course, you don't want Josh Allen, you know, throwing the football up and down the field. But I think they do have a good success rate at running the football. After last week's game, the Colts did a pretty good job containing the run, stopping Aaron Jones with 12 carries, like 66 yards or something of that nature. The run game was pretty much standing still. Going into this week, we got DeForest and those guys coming back out. They're back at home, looking for a revenge tour. They got to stop the run. Now, of course, the defense has been doing their thing. Last week, we give them a lot of credit for them standing on the field as long as they did. They tried their best. They made some turnovers. The offense just couldn't figure it out. We got to go with the defense again this week. This defense, a lot of people feel like this is a game where they can pretty much go silent. But the defense has to step up again. Obviously, my go-to has to be the offense. That's no question. But the defense in this type of game has to have another good, consistent week. Because if not, this could be 40 points plus if you give the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen that type of attempt. But I don't think that's the case. Josh Allen can do everything. He can run the football, he can throw the football, he can do it all. But they have to continue to put pressure on him. And that's just comes to the defensive line, which could be, you know, they could have another successful week. You got DeForest Buckner, you got Grover Stewart, who just coming off an amazing performance of last week. Latu and those and that Quiddy pay off the edge, they got to make some noise. They got to put pressure on him, force him to throw and become uncomfortable. Him throwing out of the pocket makes a lot of amazing plays, but he makes a lot of mistakes as well. Josh Allen is due for one or two interceptions. If you force him to become uncomfortable, he will give you the football. Now, this is not taking away anything from Josh Allen because I love Josh Allen as a quarterback. He's very streaky, though. He is very streaky. He gives you a headache. He makes you pull your hair out. But he makes a lot of decisions where it's just like, why did you even do that? And you can say that for a lot of QBs. But like I said, Josh Allen's really good at throwing the football. He can launch it down the field. He's a slinger. He can definitely throw the football down the field with ease. But the defensive line for the Indianapolis Colts just has to put pressure on him. It's that simple. And I think if you get a good pressure rate against Josh Allen, you got a good performance from your defense. Of course, you can say that for any game, but in an important game like this where the Colts need to win, that's where my faith lies in. My faith lies in the defense. So, Zaire Franklin had a good week last week. The linebacker group, they played very well. Nick Cross played very well. The corners, Kenny Moore played amazing as usual. I'm looking for a Julian Blackman interception still, so he still owes me one, but that's my dog. That's my dog. Going over to the offense. The offensive game plan wasn't the best last week. One of the worst performances in Colts history. Um, Joe Flacco, it's not a nighttime game. I gave you an excuse last week. It was a nighttime game, 8:30, past your bedtime, you sleepy. I understand. But this game is at 1 p.m. You're at home. First time starting quarterback in Indianapolis. Your debut at home. You got to perform. You got to perform. The Buffalo Bills have a very good run defense, so they might force you to throw the football a little bit. But you are very experienced in this process, so you know what to do. You know what to do. Last week, I spare you. I spare you last week. I gave you an excuse. Still bad performance, but it was your first week. So it's still a little rusty, and the offense is still trying to adjust from the game plan. They're not having Anthony Richardson back there anymore. It's Joe Flacco. This is your field. This is your team. This is your offense. You got to figure it out. You and Shane Steichen have to come up with a very creative game plan, and you got to hit the layups. You got to hit the layups. Last week, like I said, I gave you an excuse. You had a wide open running back on 4th and 2, and you threw it to double coverage. I let you slide. It was past your bedtime. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. But this week, you got to be hitting on all cylinders. We need this victory. We got to win this division. It's still there. The Texans are on a slump as well. So if we can take these games and win, we got the chance to make the playoffs. That's where our expectations is. That's what they told us. AE head coach and management organization. That's what they did. When they made you starter, they said we can contend to make the playoffs. So the offense got to be going out there. Feed Jonathan Taylor. We know how dangerous he is. You cannot go away from Jonathan Taylor. He is due for an explosive run every now and then. Got to feed him the rock. We got to get A.D. Mitchell involved. Last week in the preview, I predicted A.D. Mitchell to have at least a touchdown, but he barely seen the field. This week we got to get him involved. We got to get Alec Pierce involved. Of course, the explosive plays is going to be limited due to the arm strength for Joe Flacco, but you can still make yards after the catch. The game plan is there. Shout out to Callie Grancy. He had some big plays last week. I'm looking for the tight ends this week as well. So the offense just has to figure it out this week. I have faith in the defense, but they cannot stay on the field as long as they did last week. Unacceptable. They can't do that. The pass game, like I said, for the defense for the Colts, the run game is going to be an issue. We have to figure it out. They did last week. They just have to run it over into this week as well because the Buffalo Bills have success on running the football. Going into pass coverage, I'm 50-50 on that. I feel like the Colts pass defense will be okay. Of course, that's kind of skeptical when you mention Josh Allen at quarterback, but I think they'd be fine. I think the offense just has to find their identity, figure it out, and you're not going up against Brian Flores this week, so the pressure might be laid off a little bit. So you have your chance to make your plays. You just got to go out there and make magic and cut the defense some slack. My go-to guys this week is going to be Jonathan Taylor, even though I know as crazy as they may sound. Jonathan Taylor is my go-to player on offense. And on defense, I'm going Kenny Moore. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section about this game, score predictions, things of that nature, everything. This is Culture Shock. I will see you after the game. And until next time, you guys have a good one.